The Matrix is everywhere. It's all around us. Even now, in this very YouTube video. You can see it when you look at your Funko Pop collection, or when you turn on your favorite live stream. You can feel it when you're gooning, when you're cooming, and when you renew your subscription on Feet Finder. You are a slave, Anon. Born into a world full of high-value women that you cannot smell, taste, or touch. Unfortunately, no one can be told what the Matrix is. You have to see it for yourself. In my left hand, you take a Tums. You fix your tummy ache and go memes. You lay in bed a satisfied yet kissless virgin. Or, in my right hand, an expired extra strength Tylenol. You stay in Wonderland, and I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes. With a monthly payment of $50 a month. Excellent. The Red Pill is a men's rights movement that has been a major topic of discussion lately, with polarizing figures such as Andrew Tate and Sneeko managing to consistently stay in the public eye with their antics. The Red Pill is kept afloat by two types of people who love the Red Pill and people who can't stand it. Both of these people are massive dipshits, playing into the exact business model that the Red Pill uses to thrive. Those who oppose the Red Pill consistently signal boost the movement's biggest figures, responding to the most obvious bait imaginable and contributing absolutely nothing in the process. Or you have people that support the Red Pill, emptying their wallets and kissing the feet of people who don't give a single fuck about them. Where have I heard this story before? The Red Pill is very obviously a scam, yet so many people play into it as if it's real. But how and why? Why is the Red Pill a scam that puts NFTs to shame, one of the most genius and lucrative business strategies of the modern era? Well, today we're gonna talk about it. First off, let's establish one thing.
Hello, I like money.
What inspired you to build a second?
Money!
The Red Pill is more than just a simple scam. It is a political grift. I mean, think about it. Recently, a wave of social justice has taken over modern American discourse. And that's mainly because being against racism, homophobia, and sexism are baseline positions to have as a human. You don't have to be very smart to believe any of those things, because once you develop enough brain cells to be able to distinguish shapes and colors, you kinda already passed the threshold. However, since it's such a simple concept, many of the internet's most powerful dipshits take up these positions as well. And the byproduct of this is piss poor advocacy for positions that realistically should be slam dunks. And as a result, straight white men have become the social punching bag of society, mainly because they're the only people you're still allowed to be hateful towards. But regardless of your political leanings, it's undeniable that there is a sentiment of young men feeling isolated and feeling as though they are unheard and unseen. And while there are many perks and advantages to being a straight white man, there are downsides and disadvantages as well. This is a fundamental truth of reality. If you disagree with it, you are a retard. But this entire situation is the perfect chance for opportunistic grifters who have made their entire fortunes off of scamming and manipulating vulnerable people to continue to make some extra pocket money. The Red Pill ideology exists solely because there's a market for it, which obviously makes sense within the context of it being a social justice campaign. But the problem is, it also makes sense in a business context, which, by the way, is exponentially more likely when you consider the fact that it doesn't fucking work. Or when you consider the fact that you have to spend $50 a month to get into Andrew Tate's Hustlers University. And that's ultimately because the Red Pill ideology is not built to work. It's built to have you coming back. You see, outside of the Red Pill are the evil, man-hating libtards. But within the Red Pill are like-minded men, a community, and leaders that are willing to advocate for them. No matter how many times their dogshit advice causes these young men to fail, they have no choice. They come back, they buy their courses, and they donate to their streams. Because it's not the advice that keeps these people coming back, and it's not the results either, because both of those are fucking dog shit. Rather, it's the community. You can either be an incel who's alone or be an incel with friends. The Red Pill is not designed to work. If it did work, it would cannibalize itself. Rather, it plays into the already existing mentality of unfuckable men. Women are shallow, men are forced to crawl their way up, and most importantly, there's a way out, and there is hope. These aren't new concepts because most incels and teenagers already believe these things before they find out who people like Andrew Tate are. The main thing the Red Pill gives to these young men is not advice, it's reassurance. And the most prominent figures of the Red Pill see you as a customer, and they want to sell you as much as they can. The Red Pill is a genius way to scam people. There is a large group of stupid young men looking for hope, and here they are, rich and successful playboys, giving them the same tips they use to make it. Hey guys, here's a little insight for you. Andrew Tate has admitted to being a fucking scammer. Why do you think he wouldn't scam you too? And while I'm on the subject, another piece of advice for you. Alpha males don't need advice on how to be alpha males. They kind of just figure it out for themselves. The only people who need advice are beta males. But since somebody needs to give you good advice, I've decided to dedicate an entire section of this video to helping my beta male viewers get some snatch. Tip number 1. If your special lady seems distressed or upset, look at her with confusion. Ask her, "Why are you so upset?" She'll be subtly convinced that she's overreacting and start to calm down. But if she gets more upset, offer her a tampon, because it's very likely that she's menstruating. This is a kind gesture to show that you care about her and resolving her issues. Tip number 2. When you're talking to that special lady, ask her what her favorite music is. Regardless of how bad her taste is, say, "Oh my god, you have such good taste in music." When she asks you the same question, what your favorite music is, just say, Lana Del Rey. Even if she doesn't like Lana Del Rey, this will work. But if she asks you what your favorite Lana Del Rey song is, do not freak out. Just say, video games. This is the perfect song because it's a recognizable and classic Lana Del Rey banger, but it isn't the most obvious choice. Tip number 3, don't be a good person. Just wear snapbacks and Jordans. Women don't want a guy with personality. They just want one with swag. Tip number 4, wear my merch. It's statistically proven to increase your chances of getting female attention, mainly because half of the people who watch my videos are women. My merch is guaranteed to get you laid, made with the most epic fabrics and Gangnam style designs. Link in bio. Tip number 5, every day, break something in her house that can be easily fixed. Loosen a pipe, unscrew a bolt, or fake a robbery. Come to her aid at all times. Console her, solve the problem, and be her rock. She will trust you and see you as a reliable source of emotional and tangible support, and she will fall in love with you. Because if there's one thing that women love, it's being at the mercy of men. If you guys want more tips on how to attract women, just hit me up on Twitter, okay? I got you. You know, I've had sex twice, so I'm kind of an expert on this subject. Anyways, back to the actual point of this video. Another thing that I don't like about the red pill is...
Whatever. Even a blind squirrel is right twice a day.
One of the worst parts about the red pill is there are some truths to it. In fact, this is how so many young men get sucked into it in the first place. Red pillers will say things that on the surface are true. However, their interpretations of these realities crumble the second nuance is brought into the equation. For example, red pillars will often say, women are born with inherent value, but men have to earn it. And that kind of is true, but only in a very small context. Specifically, the dating market. It's a lot easier for women to get dates and hook up than it is for men. So if your entire understanding of what makes a person valuable is how easily you can get laid, that probably explains why you're an unfuckable loser. Self-improvement is another really good example of how the red pill manages to be 1% right at all times. Self-improvement will absolutely increase your value as a human. Making money, working out, as well as, grooming and dressing yourself well will obviously make you a higher value partner. But red pillars seem to believe that these are like the only things that matter. Things such as intelligence, empathy, emotional vulnerability, mental stability, self-awareness, and even basic manners are all super important parts of self-improvement. And in reality, you can find a great partner without being the richest and most handsome person on the planet if you have a good moral framework and are a decent person to be around. This also ties into the concept of high-value men and high-value women. I do believe in the concept that humans have value. In fact, literally everybody does. And of course, some people are more valuable than others. A well-dressed businessman who makes 100K a year is easily more valuable to the world and to other people than some random crackhead who eats bugs out of the garbage. But once again, when nuance comes into the equation, the idea falls apart because value is subjective. I would never spend $10,000 on a rare Pokemon card because the value isn't worth it to me. But for others, maybe it is. And sure, maybe there are some women on the planet that want a douchebag Chad with 17 Bugattis and nothing else, but to be honest with you, any woman with those priorities doesn't sound too high value to me. In fact, that woman sounds like an absolute bitch. Next up.
Bitch, you wanna make some motherfucking money? I'll treat you right, bitch.
Sometimes things in life happen that make me ask the question, is this real? Or am I in South Park? You see, South Park has these episodes where you're like watching them, you're like, yeah, that's pretty funny, but that would never happen in real life. But then it does happen in real life and you realize the entire planet is completely fucked. The red pill is like the best example of this. First off, the term red pill comes from the movie The Matrix, which by the way was created and directed by two men who would later transition into women. Not to mention the fact that the red pill itself is an analogy for taking estrogen. But if that's not good enough for you, one of the directors literally confirmed that The Matrix is an analogy for being trans. I know that being transphobic isn't an inherent part of the red pill ideology, even if a lot of people in that community are, but regardless of its political leanings, I still find it pretty funny that the entire aesthetic of a men's rights movement that focuses on hypermasculinity and traditional values is actually about breaking conventional gender stereotypes and embracing a more feminine existence. But oddly enough, it goes even further than that. For example, you have Andrew Tate, who claims to not be a part of the red pill community, but regardless is definitely the face of it. Andrew Tate is the wildest example of an alpha male ever. Because if you told me the person you look up to is a lean, bald European man who wears loafers and constantly talks about the optimal man to have sex with, I'd assume you came out of the closet years ago. And considering the fact that most of these men who follow Andrew Tate are also in a Discord server with a bunch of other men, if they are still in the closet, they're doing a really bad job of hiding it. Or Sneeko, who not only watched his girlfriend get power fucked by an actual alpha male, but he also got little broed by a dude who's 5'6", which is arguably just as embarrassing. Or what about Fresh and Fit, the podcast where they scrape together the dumbest women that they can find in Miami just to look kind of smart in comparison? Those guys consistently get embarrassed on their own podcast by a bisexual libtard with blue hair, and they keep inviting him back, like multiple times he's been on their podcast. Talk about an embarrassment fetish. The red pill is a genius business strategy, but so is forced labor, so, you know, take that for what you will. I think it's very sad that so many young men are being preyed upon, like literally being preyed upon. I know I called them unfuckable losers, but in reality, many young men feel isolated and don't have much of an emotional outlet. And the red pill could be such a good thing, you know, a movement where we promote young men to be better people, to increase their worth both externally and internally. But the red pill does not allow that. And now as we watch the red pill die, I'm sure many of these men are slowly coming to the realization. But for those under the false belief that the red pill actually cares about them, the only people stuck in the Matrix are you. Give me some free money on Patreon, or maybe cop some of my epic merch, both linked in the description. Check back next week where I ruin your favorite memes and hit the Quan. Like the video, subscribe for sex, and give me your money. Take care, guys.